Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Angler's Prescription, brought to you by Headwaters Adventure Company. Guys, if you need any last minute Christmas gifts, you want to get a new kayak, you want to rig out a new kayak, you want to rig out your old kayak, go give Headwaters a call. Check out headwatersadventurecompany.com, and they'll ship kayaks to you as well and ship all the other good stuff they have on their website to you. So don't forget about that. Anyway, what's up, Shane?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? What's up, everyone?
Man, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good, man. Just you know, long work week so far. So
Yeah, it's only
only
Tuesday.
only 2 days in, but
Yep.
yeah, no, everything's good. Got onto a insane jig bite out of Pedro Sunday, so
Nice.
still kind of having withdrawals about that one.
I know I don't get to go out this weekend. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm kind of. It's all good. We got some stuff to do with the family, so hang out with the kids and the wife.
man,
Good weekend.
those are important things, man.
Absolutely. I got plenty of time to go fishing between Christmas and New Year's. So that's the plan.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I took 2 days off after 2 days after Christmas off, so I'll have a 5 days off and look forward to getting out, and
Nice.
even if I have to freeze.
That's all right. They're biting.
Yeah,
Pedro's fishing good. We hit Folsom. Folsom was fishing good, so it sounds
dude,
like if you can get on the water, the bite's good. So
it was. I mean, the bite at Pedro was. I mean, once you figured out what was going on, those fish were up on transition areas. So if you see like a wall of like clay or dirt or shale or whatever, as soon as you saw like a little transition rocky area on it, dude, they were there.
nice.
So
So guys, I don't know. Like, I don't want to get into it, but we all know lakes are closing, ramps are closed, both 30-day bans. I don't want to give you any misinformation. I don't know. I've heard rumors that you can launch kayaks at Maloney's still, but we're gonna find out as it goes, guys. When I get solid information, I'll share it. That's kind of all I wanted to say on that. If you guys have been to Maloney's personally and you have firsthand experience, you can launch a kayak. Let me know. Comanche's still closed. I'm hearing mixed reports on Hogan. I don't know if it's closed or open, so I can't tell you anything about that. Pedro's open right now. I don't know about McClure, and so we're just kind of wait and see what happens, guys. I'm hoping they get it all figured out before tournament season, and sounds like a lot of them are letting us launch kayaks, even with motors. It's an inspection. Guys have been through inspections at Comanche, at Pardee. Just keep your stuff dry. I mean,
dude,
and
it's an easy solution. The problem is it's California, and if
Yeah.
it's too easy, it doesn't make sense, right?
Yep. So, Johnny, are you laggy today?
Good morning. Yeah, this computer, I guess, is about ready to die on me. It took me an hour to get here.
Man,
Holy,
Am I
that's a
lagging?
shit ton of patience there, buddy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Surprised you
yeah.
said
Well,
pop out the old phone and set that up in front of you,
hey, I got it right here. This
just in
thing
case.
dies on me again.
All right. If you get laggy, just hop out and hop back in on the phone. So,
Okay, let me know.
yeah.
I
All right,
like
guys.
that
I'm
beard, Shane.
super
Yeah,
excited
thanks.
for tonight's show. I think we all know him. He's been a force to be reckoned with in the boat world. He no longer fishes boat tournaments right now, but we're gonna do a little something different. We're talking something river related. What's up, Austin?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
So we're gonna talk
Hey,
a little steelhead fishing tonight, fellas. We will dabble into Austin's wintertime favorite stuff to do, and we'll talk some bass fishing. But
Of course.
Austin is started his own guide service for steelhead on the rivers. So if you got some time off, guess what? We can still go on the rivers. If you want to catch some steelhead, this is the man to do it. So
Yeah,
What
doing
the-
steelhead. We're doing steelhead. Right now it's steelhead, and then when steelhead's kind of done, we'll do stripers and then shad, and then if we have a salmon season, which, I kind of heard we might have a salmon season, I'll do salmon, and then right back into steelhead. So it's nonstop on the rivers. You just gotta, just be on the water, just like anywhere, just be on the water and you'll catch them.
Nice.
Dude, that's pretty epic, man. I mean, how long have you been guiding? I mean, I know you had your buddy and he had the drift boat and you guys had those videos last year, but
Yep.
Something new has happened between then and now. So how long?
Yeah, so about a year. This is kind of since
Okay.
I've had my guide license. I have roughly, I don't know, 25 years of experience on the river. So finally kind of stopped, bass fishing a little bit and started guiding. Now I am guiding on, since I sold my bass boat, I am guiding, anyone wants to book me for lakes too. I am hopping on other people's boat and I'm only charging $250, per trip, for lakes. So I know a lot of other guys are charging 400, 600 plus for trips. If you have your own boat, I hop on your boat and I show you, around.
So you doing? What are you
Sounds
guiding
like James
for?
needs to take you up on that deal.
So lakes is, obviously
Anything?
your your smallmouth, largemouth, largemouth, and spotted bass.
Nice.
So, and the Delta is kind of one of those things where you got to have a captain's license. So there is, I'm kind of not really guiding on the Delta, which, maybe in the future, or maybe consulting trips. If you want to talk about consulting trips,
Yeah.
possibly, but yeah, down the road probably get the captain's license. But right now I'm non-navigable waterways, so
Okay.
lakes, and then like upper, the American, upper Sac, and the upper parts of the Feather is kind of where I'm guiding.
Nice. And then what days do you guide? Weekends only?
Yeah, as of right now, weekends. I do have a full-time job,
Okay.
working over at Ferguson right now, Ferguson Plumbing.
Nice.
So I'm over there 5 days a week, and then off Saturday, Sunday. If this thing really kicks off, maybe I'll step away from there and do a full-time guide. But maybe we'll see. I love guiding, love being on the water, love meeting new people. So we'll see how that plays out.
And then what kind of,
I haven't even completed the first year of guiding. I've had a bunch of trips and a bunch of repeat customers, and so it's been pretty good.
what's your availability like right now?
Right now, I have a few dates. I have a lot of guys, not a lot, but I have a handful of guys that postpone trips and to reschedule. So you just gotta hit me up, and I'll let you know if I'm open or not. This weekend I'm booked. Next weekend I might have a Saturday open, and then the following weekend's right after Christmas. So
Yeah.
I doubt people want to go right after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. But
So it's Austin Wilson Fishing
yep,
on Instagram. It's
Yep.
no longer Fisherman Wilson. It's Austin Wilson Fishing.
Ah, tits. I like that name.
the YouTube is still Fisherman Wilson,
Okay.
but the Austin Wilson Fishing on Instagram, and then I think the same thing on Facebook as
On
well.
Facebook, yeah. So if you guys want to get linked up with them, Facebook and Instagram. If you guys can't find them and you're on my Instagram, you can follow him find him through my account. But he's kind of one of the first guys that pops up.
Dude.
There.
And get
Awesome.
over on YouTube and give him a subscribe. Give him a,
Some great
like
videos.
everything, man. Dude, there are some epic striper fishing videos on there, man.
I got
I'll tell you, dude.
Even back in the Wild West days when you were sleeping in your truck and doing those
Yeah.
tournaments. I
Yeah.
love that stuff.
I know.
Yeah,
I wish I would have filmed when I was fishing FLW, back east.
Yeah.
But I didn't
Well-
really think about that. I mean, they made us buy a camera, made us buy a GoPro for those events because weren't too sure if we were going to have a marshal for each event. So they wanted a camera playing no matter what while you're on the water if you didn't have a marshal. So that's kind of when I got my first camera. Was that 2019? And and then I was like, maybe I should start making videos since I got I was kind of forced to buy a camera, so I had one, and then I bought a couple other ones shortly after. But that would have been an awesome experience for everyone, and myself, to watch.
Explain
watch
about the living the dream.
Oh yeah, living the dream. Let's see. I only fished the TBF for like 2 years. The first year I fished it, I qualified for the semifinals. I had a Ranger 520, 2002 Ranger, And anyway, had some issues with it. You know, I ended up not being able to qualify or not being able to fish the semifinals. So the following year, ended up qualifying for the semifinals, won the semifinals, which they only take from the semifinals. They only take one guy from each state. So I was the number one pro to go back to the national championship back in Arkansas. So I got to fish Bull Shoals there in Flippin, Arkansas, where Rangers, Ranger boats are made. And I ended up winning that whole thing there. So there was pretty much, I think there was 53 guys that qualified, and I think obviously there was a couple other states that they qualified a couple guys through. I don't know exactly the reason why, but 53 guys, I think. Pretty cool experience. They gave us all Ranger boats, to run around in, for that tournament. We had to practice, I think, one day of practice out of our own boats, and then they gave us a boat to practice out of. So pretty cool. Every day they fed us. They gave us food, water. It was a pretty cool experience. Place to hang out, a place to, like not an Airbnb, but like cabins / hotel kind of thing that they paid for. So yeah, I ended up winning that whole thing over there at Bull Shoals. I think it was a 3-day event. The first day I was tied for second place. The second day, I was tied for first place with the same exact guy. We had the same exact weight 2 days in a row, and crazy. How would you tie, for weight wise with the same guy?
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. But anyway, we tied. BJ Nelson was the guy's name. Really good person. Really, I talked to him quite a bit back then, and even I stayed in touch with him, right afterward for about a year and a half or so. But anyway, day 3 ended up winning, and punched my ticket to the Forcewood Cup. Also got to fish the BFL All-American back in Louisiana. And the Forcewood Cup was in Arkansas at, oh my gosh, what lake was that? It'll come to me later, but it was a big, big lake. And got to fish against all the big guys, and then the next year, 2019, I got to fish against all those guys, traveling all over the place, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, got to go to upstate New York, got to go to ICAST, and had a really good, good time, really cool experience, fishing out there. Got to meet a lot of good guys, made some good friends. You might recognize a guy out there right now that's doing really well, Dakota Ebear. I don't know if you follow him, but he's been doing really good. We kind of traveled together, and it was his rookie year as my, the same year I was out there. So we became, friends, and, every once in a while I'll shoot him a text and congratulate him about, how he's doing out there, but yeah, cool experience, and then didn't quite have the money to redo it. I think when I came home in October, it was an FLW on the Delta, and I was doing the math, and I had to win that tournament to be able to financially go back. And I think I got third on that FLW on the Delta, which, I fell a little bit. I thought I had some winning fish, just didn't come, didn't win, like I wanted to, but it is what it is, So
Yeah.
and
At least you did the semi-responsible thing and didn't put it all on credit cards and go back the next year.
No, I didn't want to do that, but got to fish the, Wild West Pro-Ams and the first year I fished Wild West Pro-Ams, ended up winning Angler of the Year for the Pro-Ams, which got my entry fees paid for the next season. But the next season there was Apex, so I actually got that money credited towards Apex. So got a little bit of that, entry fees paid for Apex, which was nice. And then winning Angler of the Year, winning the very first tournament there at Amador. Almanor, sorry, not Amador.
In the snow.
The smallmouth,
Yeah.
And then winning Angler of the Year at the end of the season. So that was pretty cool,
Yeah.
But and then
So you
everything.
guys didn't know he's a very accomplished fisherman.
Yeah, I've done.
To say the least.
Yeah, he's what was this? He took second in the frog tournament this year.
Yep, second won it last
Second,
year.
yeah.
And
then winning at Almanor in the snow. Do you even have grass on your boat that tournament?
Nope, did not have any grass
there you
on the
go.
boat.
There you go.
And that year is, pretty crazy. So obviously, Ken Ma, which is a really good fisherman, well known. Everyone knows Ken.
Mhm.
You know, every tournament he won, I was in second place. So if he fell, you know, I would have, you know, I would have won quite a bit that year.
Yeah.
Literally second place every time he won. You know, which he won what, 3 events? He won the, let's see, he won. So I won Almanor, and then I think we went to the After Bay. It could have been the After. I think it was the After Bay. He won the
Yeah.
After Bay,
Yeah.
and then I think
Yeah,
we went
the
to
After Bay.
Comanche, which I think we both didn't do well. That I think Phil Dutra won the Comanche, which you know he won it on. I told him a little spot that I was been catching fish on, and that's right where he won it. So pretty cool. I was fishing a pipe, and I was there was a little bit of current, and he was fishing. I think fishing a jig, and that's where I caught all my fish in the tournament. And I told him, hey, dude, there's some fish there, and he ended up going there and winning. So pretty cool. And then let's see, the next tournament. I don't even know where the next tournament
The
was.
Trinity.
No, that was the year after.
Okay.
I don't know how many events do we have.
Delta.
Oh no, it wasn't Columbia.
Four or five, right?
Delta.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It was like 4. It wasn't quite 5. I think the following year was 5. Anyway, and then we had the TOC, you know, and he ended up winning the
Oh,
TOC.
yeah.
You
That
know,
was the Delta Berryessa flip flop
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
Yep, which I was leading it after day 2, and then they canceled day 3. You know, and usually when they cancel a tournament, whoever's winning, you know, wins.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, 2 weeks later or a week later or whatever, they had it at Berryessa, and I felt like I smashed them. You know, I was on a good school of fish and caught a lot of fish, and you know, Ken Ma got a lucky bite. You know, he caught an 8-pounder. You know, and
Yeah.
8
you
pounder,
know, and
right?
I finished second at there. So,
Yeah.
but it's all right. He's a good fisherman. You know, he puts his time in.
Oh,
You
for
know?
sure.
You know.
So
But,
how'd you make the transition from 100% all in at bass fishing to I'm gonna go smash some steelhead and striper and whatnot on the rivers?
So I've been fishing steelhead and salmon pretty much my entire life. You know, I dabbled in it. You know, when I was bass fishing, you know, like, oh, the salmon are running, I'm gonna go salmon fishing. You know, this weekend, you know, I would put the bass rods away and pull up the salmon rods, and same thing with steelhead. You know, December, January, February, most of our lakes kind of suck, right? I mean, it's cold. You know, don't get me wrong, they don't suck. I mean, the spotted bass fisheries fish really well. You know, some of our other lakes, or like the Delta, you know, just end of December,
Shut
January, into February, you know, it's pretty tough. You know, not saying
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
catch, you know, because if you put a tournament on any body of water, no matter how tough it is, someone's going to catch them. 365 doesn't matter. You know, so the fishing's always good. You know, you just got to stumble across them and figure it out. So, but yeah, the steelhead thing and salmon thing, I've been doing it for, you know, a long time. I just figured, you know, I enjoy it. You know, the steelhead thing is, they're tricky. They're hard to catch, you know, and that's kind of why I like to fish for them so much, you know. And especially our river here, like the American, we have a couple different strains. It's kind of like a Florida strain and a northern strain largemouth. You know, we have a Central Valley fish and an Eel River fish. You know, the Eel River strain are a lot bigger. They get anywhere from, I would say, 6 to, I mean, our river record is, I think, 22 pounds.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
Wow.
that's a, you know, a sea run rainbow for the most part. Those fish go out to the ocean, spend so much time in the ocean, then come back. You know, they'll spawn multiple times, unlike salmon, which they got one go at it, right? They'll spend anywhere from 2 to 5 years out in the ocean. When they come inland, you know, and spawn, they're done. They die. So the steelhead, they can survive multiple, you know, trips back and forth. So, but yeah, no, steelhead are tricky. You know, there's a lot of pressure on the rivers, and but that's what makes them so special. You know, they fight super hard. They jump. They get airborne. You know, they fight pretty hard. Not saying bass don't and stripers don't. You know, but something about steelhead are special.
Yeah.
So how many clients can you put on the boat at one time?
I can put 2 clients. You know, so 3 people counting myself.
Yep.
So it's more of just like, you know, bass fishing. You know, I can you know, hop on, you know, someone's bass boat. We can have 2 guys on a boat. Do the same thing with a drip boat. You know, it's and it's kind of, it makes it personal. You know, I'm talking to the guys. You know, and it's not like some. Not saying the party boats aren't special. You know, but you got 30 guys on a party boat. And you got a couple deckhands, and you got the captain. It's not really, you know, you're not really getting a lot of information. They're just telling you to drop when when they tell you to drop, you know. So me and the other guys we're talking the entire time. Get to know each other a little bit.
And that you're able to get into some of the smaller areas too, right? The big boats aren't getting into. So
Yep. So, but it's fun. It really is. I enjoy it, and it's. I think it's going to be a good year this year. Last couple of years we've had a lot of water, which when you have a lot of water, fish are going to spawn really well, and the returns are going to be better. So, and this year I think is going to be pretty good.
If so, you're obviously going to chase wherever the bite's hottest, right? If they might say, "Cool, can I do it on the sack?" You might say, "Eel River would be better."
Yeah.
Head up to the eel, right?
Yeah, in the coastal rivers like the eel, it all depends on rain flow. You gotta have to have rain to go fish them. They drop out pretty quick, and there are restrictions. When the water's low, you can't fish the rivers. So you got to watch, watch the weather, watch how much water's coming down those rivers to be able to fish them. So
hot tip: it's going to rain next week and this week. So if you want to book a trip, just
yeah, I'm hoping. Like I said, I fish the American mostly. American's about to probably go off here pretty soon. I'm thinking it's going to happen with this rain that we're getting this week. To be honest, I'm going to go out this weekend. I have a trip booked, so going out and hopefully we can catch them.
nice.
We've only had one really good storm. I've been up to the hatchery, looked at the hatchery because they have a bunch of salmon up there, but the steelhead are mixed in too. And last year at this before January 1st, I was up there and the hatchery was absolutely loaded, plumb full of steelhead. This year is not so many, so it's, we've had a lot more rain than we did last year. We had a lot more rain than we did this year. So this week we have how many days of rain? 5-6 days of rain, partially rain.
Yeah.
So 35% chance. I think Saturday is supposed to be 90% chance of rain. So the water level's not going to come up too much because obviously it's controlled by the dam, right? And Folsom Lake is low, so they're not going to let too much water out of Folsom. They're probably going to keep it the same and let Folsom fill up a little bit, until the next storm, until the spring when all that snow melt happens. So, but the water's a little dirtier. That's when the fishing gets good. When the water's crystal clear, it makes it a little tougher. Just like anything. Those fish are they're smart. They can see. So they get spooky. But when the water's dirty, you can catch them. You can catch them pretty well. So
Nice. Yeah, hopefully
I was on the American
rain system.
River one time. I was on the American River one time, and it was a line shoulder to shoulder of bank fishermen casting. And when someone would catch one, fish on, they're under over. I'm like, is this for real?
Chaos.
And
I've been there.
like, yeah, this is what happened. And I was like, I'm out of here. I'll sit in the bank and watch this because I can't. I just can't do this. And
I grew up
probably
doing
like
that.
4 people caught fish. That's it.
Yeah. I grew up doing that. I got dropped off the river when I was 9 years old, and I'd fish down there. So obviously, you probably wouldn't do that these days, but I would get dropped off and to go get my spot, because earlier you are, the better your odds are to get the spot that you want.
Right.
Even though people are going to crowd you, you still have that line, of the angle of how you're. It depends on how you're fishing, right? If you're lining,
Right.
which a lot of guys are, that's why the shoulder to shoulder is they're lining them, which I've kind of got away from that. Not saying anything wrong with it, but you're pretty much, snagging them in the mouth is what you're doing. Because they're coming up river and your line's just going right through their mouth, and then the current is, pretty much hooking them.
Right.
But now, gone to like spinners and plugs and stuff like that, and making them eat, so. I grew up that way, so I can't hate on it, So, but realize it's, is it ethical?
That's how it is.
It all depends on who's looking, who wants to judge, So I can't judge because I did it when I was younger, So
Yeah.
Oh, I've loved catching salmon on jerk baits.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
Or whatnot.
Oh,
A
man,
guy
that
came
house
down.
we stayed at.
He had
Trinity.
a fishing game badge on his hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people were like literally throwing their rods in the water, and not half of them, but there was a lot of them. I was like, what's going on? And my buddy said, oh, there's fishing game right there. You know, I'm like, cool. And like, I wouldn't say half the people, but a lot of people literally just like put their stuff down and start walking away. And I'm like, you know, I was like, buy a license. Come on.
It's crazy. You know, fishing game, they're going to be watching you a long time before they walk up on you. So, like, with throwing your stuff down, it's like, it doesn't matter. They already
too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been spying.
And it was just a fisherman that had a hat on that looked like a fishing game.
Yep. So, but yeah, fun times down there.
Yeah, we were up at Trinity this year for BAM, and we were the house we had was like literally right across the street from the river, and that brown that Damien caught, or no, that was you, right? That was Shane, dude. That thing on the jerkbait was massive.
BFS jerkbait, little BFS jerkbait on a BFS reel.
Wow.
Absolute blast.
Oh, the current was ripping through there, and they kind of had like this little, like, nice little slick spot right in front of the house, and a couple of guys caught a few on jerk baits that trip that night. That was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be definitely. I haven't caught a steelhead yet. That's on my list. I do want to do it at some point.
They are definitely, you know, elusive sometimes. You know, that's why I put in so much time, you know, and go on the days I don't guide so I can try to, you know, figure them out, you know, and it all depends on water levels too, you know, like I really like the water level when it's like 4,000 CFS, 4,000 to, I'll fish it at 10,000 CFS, which right now the river is like at, last I checked was at 2,100 CFS. So it's definitely not quite where I want it to be. You know, those fish are actually more spread out. When that water is higher, those fish actually run the shoreline. And they're a little bit easier to catch. It's like they have to be on this line, you know. So let me put my lure right here and, you know, see if I can run into one. But when the water's lower, those fish can just be anywhere. You know, they can be on seams, eddy seams, and little depressions and stuff like that. But without, which, you know, like I said, I'm on the water quite a bit, so I kind of know where most of those depressions are. Doesn't matter what water level. But you know, they're steelhead and they're tricky. They can sit there and you can put your lure right in front of them. They still won't bite, just like bass fishing. You know, how many times you look at them on live scope and you pretty much knock them on the head, and they still won't bite. You know, so
dude, what's wrong with you? You ain't biting.
Dude, that was like this weekend, man. I'd throw that A-rig out and I'd bring it over to this little depression, and dude, you have one or two fall in it, and like I swear to God, like 10 of them just kind of rising off the bottom, and it's like, okay, I've got 10 fish chasing this thing. One of them's got to eat. And it was like damn near to the boat and finally goes boom. I'm like, oh my God, dude, it took him that long to finally commit.
Wow.
Dude, my favorite is when you're scoping them and you throw something out and you see that bass come from 10 buck far real quick. And you're like, oh, dude, game on.
And then, nope.
It just, what the heck, dude?
Yeah.
Seen something he didn't like, something color or whatever.
There's something.
But that's the good thing about it, because then you can like change up, right?
Yeah, sure.
You know, so you can change up size, color, you know, to try to get the next one to bite. You know?
Austin, do you use it forward facing on your steelhead and salmon and all that?
I don't, but I think I'm definitely missing out on it, to tell you the truth. I definitely want to get it on, but when I'm salmon fishing, at least steelhead, not so much, because I am catching them in relatively shallower water. Roughly 4 foot is kind of where I like.
Yeah.
The fish on our rivers, they don't really hold. I mean, the steelhead don't really hold up in the deeper holes. And I don't know if it's just because, you know, the stripers. And I think we have stripers in our rivers year round. So, I mean, if I was a steelhead, I wouldn't want to be swimming in a deeper hole, to be totally honest, you know. No. Even if I was, you know, a 4 or 5 pounder, there's a 40-pound striper there. I mean, that's nothing for a striper to eat, you know. So,
right.
Yeah, I just don't think that they have to go through those deeper holes to get to the shallower stuff, but they're super hard to catch in there. So in the deep hole. So I usually like that 4 to 5 foot range. It seems to where I do really well, you know. So
you know what helps me a lot too is you see structure, not only in the fish, but you see structure that they hold on, and then that kind of keys you in exactly where that structure's at. You know, if it being a rock or a ditch or a little, you know, and you know, high impression or whatever, you know, and then you kind of like make exact cast to that area.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. no, I definitely need it. I just it'll probably be in the future. Maybe on a power when I get a power boat. I'm not saying my drift boat doesn't have a motor on it, but when I get a bigger boat and when I start doing when I get my captain's license, and I'll be fishing like the navigable waterways like the Delta, the Sac, lower Sac, maybe up on the feathers, some deep holes and stuff like that. It would definitely come in handy. The American definitely in some areas, but I think it would definitely work more for salmon than steelhead. So
Winning major events with no graphs on his boat. Now he's going to put live scope on it.
yeah. Well, it's definitely
Watch
cool
out.
Really all you need.
because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
God forbid Austin puts that on a bass boat and starts
oh,
figuring
God.
it out.
Yeah. I got asked to fish some team events this year, and had someone say that their company will sponsor the entire event, all their events. So he's like, all you have to do is just hop on the boat, So I mean, that's tempting. I just don't know what we'll fish. I mean, with all these lakes, shutting down, it's like I don't even know what tournaments are going to do. What's going to happen? You're just going to have a Delta only tournament, for some.
I'm hoping it's the beginning of it, guys, and it's like once the starts warming up and all the pleasure boaters want to come back out again. How many of those guys in their $250,000 boats are going to have sit around all summer long? I don't know. Yeah. I'm hoping they got to figure something out. They got time.
You're going to have to give me 1 second. My phone is actually on 10%. I have a power pack right here, but I don't have a cord, so I want to make sure
that's fine.
I'm well juiced.
You're good.
Yeah, down south they already have the quagga mussel down south. Not the golden one, but they have the quagga mussel, and they already have a procedure they do. Before you get on the water, and basically it is check, make sure everything's dry, and let you go. So
it's
south,
I think it's
infested. Some lakes aren't infested, but
I think
it's just a matter
the thing
of time
is
before everything is infested.
Well, I think it's not as much as the process as much as it is the allowing of from one body of water to another. Just like it is at Maloney's. Like right now, they're banding, 30 days off limits, a ban. Then when they open back up and you're able to go back and fish Maloney's, once you get back off the water, they'll band you with a green band. But that band is only so you could fish Maloney's. The problem is, these agencies need to get all on the same page. Look, I mean, it's not hard, dude. Design an app. I get off Maloney's, you ban me, you upload my band number to an app. If I go to, Pedro the next weekend or whatever lake it would be, they'd be able to see where I last launched at. And as long as my band is attached, I should be able to get on the body of water.
Something's gonna happen. We just gotta give it time.
Yeah.
I think everybody's all up in arms over it. And just, there's a lot of information going around, but is it the right information going around? Because you hear one story at one guy, you hear another story from another guy, and it's
I don't think any of them. Nobody knows.
You don't know what to believe, and that's the thing is, I wish these lakes would have a spokesperson come out and actually post something on their Facebook pages or have some kind of information release. That way, everybody stops speculating and everybody stops saying one thing or another. To where that way we all know what the deal is. This is what they're saying. This is what we're doing.
You know what you buy a trailer that has that. Those car washes. They go around and wash all the cars in the car lots. Those trailers, and all you gotta do is just screw on a hose to it. It heats the water up. You hose down the
but there's
guy's
something.
boat. You hose the motor
it's
down.
Hot soapy water, but it's got to be done from
good.
an approved. Yeah, but it's got to be done by an approved entity, and blah blah blah. It's going to be
the water has to be 140 degrees for wash down, and it's got for your motor, it's got to be a different water temp. It's a little bit more involved than just washing it down.
Yeah.
They're gonna figure it out.
Well, I mean, you
fish.
could actually get a trailer and have a business do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the
You know what I mean?
the
And
decontamination
I do
machine
it,
is
make your own business.
$25,000 for
Yeah.
one of those machines, and
the one I was looking at was 90,000.
yeah.
Well, Comanche
Yeah,
will
the
make
trailer
it up
was
kinda
90
quick when
grand.
they pay, when all the boaters, $30 a boat, to come fish, like,
And that's the thing though, is like the one at Barry right now at Steel Cannon. If you wanted to book an appointment, you can't right now. They're booked way out, and it's a 45-minute to an hour process for them to wash your boat out.
Depending on boat size.
And they could charge you $200.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're charging.
They could charge you up to $200.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Comanche.
they said anywhere from
Tahoe's up to
$50
$200
to
for
$200.
certain boats.
wow.
Yeah.
Comanche was, I mean, I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't. I know it's going to change now because everybody's going to have to do it, but they have one there. They only have one at the South Shore. So, I mean, they're ahead of the game. I don't know if they're going to open back up or when they're going to open back up. I haven't heard anything about it, but they're going to.
Yeah,
It's
Maloney's
good business
has
for
one
me,
out
so
front,
I'll hop
too.
on my boat and I'll take you fishing down the river.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right. Exactly.
Get your boat. Get your boat
or
banded.
just float the river with no motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get
Just
your
don't
boat
use your
banded to
motor.
Maloney's and go fish the river with Austin in the 30 days.
Well, the good thing about where I'm fishing, I would say on the American, you can't use a motor from October 31st to March 15th. So because of all the fish spawning, in the
Right.
gravel bed, so they don't want people to motor over and chop up with the props, so they kind of
Eggs
wait.
and everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, lower section, there's two. You got the barbel section and you have the barb section on the American. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but from that barbel section down, you're good to run a prop all year. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. But
Be honest, I'd rather float the river with no motor, no nothing, just some guy moving it with a paddle, because that's just back to nature, and it's just so much better. I think it just, you're back to nature, and you're just loving it. You can just sit there and just watch stuff go by. I mean, catching fish is a bonus, but just the ride itself is, yeah,
and the American is full of life. I mean, there's ducks and geese, and you got a lot of different species.
Everything.
Here there was a pintail that hung out with all year up on the upper section, which is pretty cool. You don't see that too often. I've seen widgeon, I've seen mallard, obviously a bunch of mallards, and mallards are everywhere.
Right.
Teal. What else? I mean, obviously all the divers. Like your mergansers and cormorants. So otters, and then even it's crazy. You even have seals, pretty much, all the way up to, I don't know if you guys are too familiar with the river, but all the way up to like Gristmill area and a little bit farther up, which last year I thought that was crazy. Sea lions all the way up here, but
that was when the stripers were running.
Yeah, that's when you
Was
wish
that
you
when
could
the
have a prop
stripers were
on it.
running?
No, that was actually the end of like steelhead season. So when all the steelhead were recovering and heading back out to the ocean, they're just going to town.
They were in there.
Did you see that video Nick posted, the former fisherman dude?
Yeah, where he almost ran one over.
He actually hit one.
He hit it.
Yeah, he hit it with the bow of his boat.
Dang.
He said
going 40 miles an hour.
He thought he killed it. He said it was just sitting there floating.
Wow.
Yeah,
It wasn't like it wasn't like he's trying to hit it,
No, it just popped up right at the wrong time.
Yeah. Or at the right time.
Yeah.
That's how you look at it.
Yeah, right.
Depends on who you talk
So
to.
what Austin's saying is you get a nice gondola ride down the American River. You sing to an Italian and take guys down there.
That's funny. No, another thing talking about sea lions. So another thing talking about sea lions, like the Klamath, a lot of the Native Americans, they won't get in trouble, like shooting sea lions. So like at the end of the season, in the salmon season, there'll be a handful of them, on the beach from those guys killing them, so maybe we need some Native Americans down here and to maybe thin out the population.
No kidding. They're getting bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting bad. I forgot where I was at. in the kayak in the Delta, man. I thought I was far enough away, but no, definitely wasn't, dude. They
Mhm.
scared the crap out of me up there too. First time I encountered one of the kayak, dude, I had a fish in the net. And I totally forgot they were out there. It was like one of my first few times in the Delta, and that thing popped up within 15 feet of me, about scared the crap out of me.
That's crazy. Yeah, I've heard stories of them getting on people, like the back of people's boats,
Oh,
bass boats.
jeez.
Yeah,
And
or
like,
the front of people's boats.
yeah, about the
This
same.
this was years ago, but we were out striper fishing out of the Tracy Oasis area, and a buddy of mine said, "Dude, he's all if we catch one, man, you can't put it on a stringer and throw it over side of the boat." So we had they were out there fishing one day, and they had one over, didn't even realize it, but the boat just started tugging down,
Oh,
and it was a seal grabbing the fish off the stringer.
yeah. Wow. Gonna flip a kayak for sure.
Yeah, no,
That's like
luckily a
even
boat.
when you do guide trips out of the ocean, man, or you're trolling, they'll come up. You're fighting this like when salmon season was open or anything was open, man. You'd be fighting the fish, and next thing you know, it's like you hear the captain yell, "Reel faster!" You know that seal's coming in
Mhm.
hot to grab it.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. They're smart.
Yeah, they are.
They'll hang wherever the fleet is. They'll just hang around the fleet waiting for someone to catch one.
Yeah, they know
So,
where the food's at.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
bet.
Yep.
They catch on real quick. Yeah, matter of fact, when I go to the Delta, I'm struggling. I look for the seals.
Mm-hmm.
Seals already found the fish for me. I just got to figure out how to catch them now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I've literally seen them.
So they,
I mean, if I'm not striper fishing, I literally seen them like swim through the coulees and grab a bass and swim out the main,
Oh, yeah.
coulees and thrashing it around.
Right. Yeah.
There goes
tearing
my
it apart.
6-pounder I needed.
Yeah. Right.
So you're throwing a lot of artificial reaction baits for your steelhead.
Yeah, throwing spoons like a little Cleo. It's kind of what I'm casting for them. I'm back bouncing plugs, so like a mag lip is kind of what I'm using. I actually have one right here. Something like
What
this
about
is
the
crazy.
hoochie?
This is the hoochie. No, I don't really do much with the hoochie. If I'm going to use like a jig, I'll either under a bobber or a float, and I'll cast it with like a 4-foot leader or so, and I'll drift it through some eddy seams.
Drift it.
I don't have any of those in front of me right now, but that's like I said, this is kind of what it looks like right here. Obviously, a little bit different color. This is they call this a Y code. Like they only make so many of them. Like the color I really like is called Dr. Death, which is usually it has this black bill, but then the whole bait is almost like this pink color. It's a really good color for the American, and then all silver, all chrome is kind of one of my favorites.
So you're not
what do you
trolling.
think
You're
that
actually
pink
making
thing is?
casts and having fun catching steelhead. Then
So with the plugs, I'm doing most of the work. So what we'll do is we'll send the lines. I have, we're pretty much trolling. Is kind of what we're doing. And unless I have some guys that are really good at casting, and then we'll be throwing Cleos, your bobber and floats, or your jig and float, and then maybe some row back, side drift and row. But if I get a couple guys that aren't great at casting, I mean, I love running plugs because the plugs I can, I'll tell my clients like how far I want them back, which I have line counters. I have Lexus 100 line counters, and I'll be like, all right, put them back at 55 feet, put the other one back at 65 or whatever, and I'll pretty much row and try to keep those baits where I think a fish is. So they're just watching the rod, watching the rod wiggle, and all of a sudden, that rod goes off. The chaos breaks loose. So the fish are getting airborne and pulling a bunch of line. So I'm doing most of the work when I'm running plugs, and it's pretty exciting. The anticipation of getting a bite is pretty cool. But if I get some guys that are really good at casting, then I'm throwing Cleos, covering a little bit more water that way, dropping anchor, fan casting, and like I said, bouncing row, so.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Heck
What
yeah.
about fly rods?
Fly rods,
Fly rods?
I haven't done much fly fishing or guiding for steelhead with fly. Now, the boat that I just got, and maybe you guys will see in an upcoming video, has like fly fishing stands. So, and I actually am going to book a guy for 3 days. He wants to fly fish. So, it's going to be a new learning curve. Like I used to fly fish when I was doing my whitewater rafting. I did a little bit of guiding for I think about 5 seasons. I'm doing whitewater rafting, so did like the South Fork of the American, Middle Fork of the American, the Tuolumne. Actually done the Grand Canyon. Pretty cool trip there, 280 miles, 18-day trip.
Wow.
Super fun.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah, made the trip. What other rivers? I've done the Rogue, done the Klamath, done the Cal Salmon, done the Green River in Utah. But yeah, I used to guide, whitewater a little bit, so have a bunch of experience doing whitewater stuff too.
Nice.
Super fun.
Didn't you work for Fisherman's Warehouse for a while?
Yep, I worked for them for 2 years, and it was a good job.
Did you
I got a
actually
lot
did you actually get a paycheck every month, or did you spend it all?
That's a good question.
No, I
I
would spend all my money, my paycheck. I just spend every penny of it. My wife's like, "Where's your paycheck? See that bag right there? That's it."
Yeah, I was actually
It's hard
pretty
to
good
eat out of a
about
bag.
But that's pretty funny. No, yeah, no, I was pretty good at it and not spending because I had a lot of stuff, unless I actually needed something, and
Right.
which was good because I got a pretty good discount, while I was working there.
Right.
But it's a bummer, to be honest. I liked working there, but at the end of the day, they didn't want to pay. I was capped out at what I was making, so it's time to move on. So
Yeah.
and which my job now, they appreciate me. They appreciate all their employees, not just me. And it's a good environment. That's
Yeah.
Right.
really good environment.
Well, and you got married, and you have
The little one.
Baby
a
boy,
little one now.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
You know.
8 months,
congratulations.
8 months old. So thank
Wow.
Yeah,
you.
congratulations.
Yep, growing fast. Thank you. I'll have a
Yeah,
fishing
they
partner in
grow
the future.
fast.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just, it's a cute little kid. I can't see it coming from Austin though. But
Right.
Yeah, but Austin, and that one was Austin's. Yeah. I heard that a few times.
That's- yeah. So, favorite this time of year bass techniques. What are you throwing?
Okay, what body of water? What are we talking? We talking
Let's
Clear
go-
Lake? We talking Oroville? We talking the Delta?
Let's go like Maloney's, Orville, Shasta.
why don't we make it
Spotted
fun?
bass.
Why don't
We'll do a
we?
little
Why
bit of
don't
both.
we?
We'll do a little bit of both.
Throw a name of a lake out real quick, and let's see how quickly you can respond to it.
Go. Okay, because I know everybody's gonna be a Delta rat next year because that's all we got to fish. Let's go a Delta this time of year. What are you looking for? What are you throwing?
I'm punching.
Punching?
I'm finding the mats are starting to decay that are piled up in some back of the either back of dead end sloughs. Maybe blown into like a corner with a little bit of depth. Just because when all the hyacinth and grass is starting to decay, it is creating warmth. Right? Have you ever put a pile like lawn clippings, like when you mow a lawn, you pile it, and then in the wintertime, ever flipped it? It's all that steam and warmth. And the same thing, with the bass fishing on the Delta is like the hyacinth, everything is decaying and creating a little bit warmer water temps, and those fish will get right up underneath there and get a little warmth that way. So, and you catch some really big ones that way, punching.
Yeah.
Other than that, you got to slow way down. Go throw a drop shot. You might be able to catch them on a spinnerbait and a chatterbait, but you're gonna have to cover a lot of water to get a few bites. But I'd say punching. If I was going to the Delta tomorrow, I would have a flipping stick in my hand.
Okay. Let's say so. Clear Lake's putting out right now. Third was it John Pearl 35 plus last weekend to win the ABA with the 8-pounder.
Mm-hmm.
What do you?
Dream bag.
That's an amazing bag. And he's
LV 500.
LV 500.
That's going to be the LV 500. I absolutely love that bait. I've caught some pretty big bags. I've done really well on that bait in the fall and the springtime on it. And then if I didn't have the LV, I'd be throwing a swim bait. I'd probably be throwing a HUD. Creeping it real slow on the bottom.
Okay.
But number one is that LV. Once because the fish are usually grouped up this time of year, and if you can get one to fire, as fast as you can get in there, you're catching them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about let's go
yo-yo
Orville,
or
do that one out there.
Yep, I'm yo-yoing it. And I'm messing around with the cadences until I find them. Like, because yo-yoing it after a while gets tiring, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just burning
Yeah,
it and
right.
killing it for the most part. And then once I get bit, then I'm slowing down, and then I'm like either little hops or big hops. You know, all kind of, you just got to mess with your cadence. And then once you get bit again, then you can keep that cadence going, you know?
Keep it
So,
going.
yep. And then
Okay.
colors wise, I like ghosty colors, you know, this time of year. I mean, Ghost Minnow is a really popular one. I like Ghost Wikisagi is a good one.
Hmm.
Ghost Chartreuse Shad is a good one. And then the spring, you know, any of your crawdad colors, spring craw or Aurora craw is a good one as well. And then if the water's dirty, Aurora black, which is like blue, like a dark blue on the back of it with a blue on the side with a chrome side. But yeah, I'd say Aurora craw is probably my favorite in the spring.
What pound test line?
I'm going 40-pound braid to a 17-pound leader, and the leader's
okay.
not going into school, you know, because once you're in this fall, you're still fishing around some grass, right? And
Right.
so, I mean, braid you feel everything with, right? And the waters usually has a decent stain there. You know, the springtime kind of gets a little clean, right around that before the carp start spawning, right? That water gets really clean, and I usually do my best before that water gets clean. So like end of February, the middle of March is kind of like my favorite time for LV. And in the fall, it's like October through now, you know, is the LV. But the water's usually pretty dirty. So they're not going to see your braid. That 6 foot, 7 foot leader, that's all you need. And I don't like when my knot goes into my spool. So I will keep it to where when I make my leader is right before it goes into the spool. So that's all you need. Because I hate when it goes in the spool and you cast and your thumb is hitting that knot over and over again.
Yeah.
Tears your thumb up.
You ever wonder why you see those guys with Band-Aids after long days of tournament fishing?
Yep.
Could be it.
Yep.
Yep.
But that's kind of my thing. 17-pound, P-line tactical fluorocarbon is what I use. There's a lot of good line out there, you know. So whatever you
Right.
like, whatever confidence in. But I've been fishing P-line for a long time, and they're a sponsor of mine. So love P-line. Been using it for a long time. So, but
What about
Orville, I'd probably throw in a rig, throwing an
Mhm.
A-rig.
Yep.
You know, trying to find areas that the wind's blowing into, trying to find a little bit dirtier water, find a mud line. You know, I'm throwing an A-rig would probably be my go-to right now. You know, because
Nice.
don't get me wrong, a jig, you can catch fish on a jig and dragging something on the bottom.
The A-rig's just fun.
You can cover a lot of water with an A-rig. You know, and big
Sure.
ones. You know.
Yep.
So
What are
So
your
would you
go-to
be
this time of year? What are your go-to baits on the A-rig?
So Kitech is my number one. You know,
Are you going easy shiners? Or are you doing fat swings?
That's a great question. I've done both. You know,
Okay.
That's a tough one. I think I go fat impact is kind of my go-to. Now when I'm striper fishing on the American, I do like the easy shiner, the 5-inch easy shiners one. But we're not talking about the river. We're talking about Orville.
Yeah.
So size wise, I go. I think 3/8, maybe. So my main wire, my biggest one, I might go 4/3, you know, but 3/8, you know, if the bait's small, I go that 3/8 for the hook baits, and then I'll do 3/3s for teasers, you know.
Okay.
So or I'll go 3/8 for the big one, and then I'll go 3/3s for the side ones, or sorry, the 3/8 out the middle, 3/3s for the side hooks, and then 2.8s on top.
Do you change
I'm
your center
sissy,
color
dude.
up? Do you change your center color up any?
No,
You
no,
don't?
I don't. No,
See,
I know
that's
some
great.
guys do, but I don't.
Yeah. I was told that, and I tried it once, and dude, I'm telling you, like, I don't know what it is because I have a white one I run in the center, and I run 4-inch easies, and then 2.8s for my teasers. And out of this weekend, I think out of the 5 fish I caught on the rig, I think 3 or 4 of them were on the white one in the center.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, it stands out from the school, right? And they want that the weak link, right? They want an easy meal. So
That's
I
why
mean,
you
it
put
makes
the
sense.
bigger you put the bigger one there. So that's
Right.
what you do, you know, and that's what
Yeah.
works too. So
Right. And then
that's
colors
cool.
colors wise, I mean, I like that pro blue color. It's hard to beat
Mhm.
pro blue red pearl. Electric shad's another good one. Rainbow shad, I like rainbow shads is a good one as well.
Tennessee shad too.
Yeah, Tennessee shad's a really good color too. Yeah, I fish all those colors. You know,
I'll give up.
I throw a sissy rig in because I'm all it's like 3-3 or 2-8. Freaking here you are talking 3-8s and 4-3s. I'm like, oh man, I need to up my game here.
dude, before we really like when the A rig first came out, everyone was throwing giant, 6-inch baits, and they were smashing them on it, right? And they'd never seen it before, and there were mega bags coming off the NA rig, and like I said, I know some guys were using. I don't know if you guys know the hippo, or they're kind of like a bass string,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they say a 6-inch, like Bastrix says 6-inch, but I think they're actually like 5 point something inches, but everyone's throwing that kind of, they're throwing giant, giant baits now, you think about it, but they were still catching them,
Yeah.
so we all downsize because the bait is pretty small, but I still think if you threw some bigger baits on there, I don't think I mean, you might get less bites, but I think you'll catch bigger fish.
Mm-hmm.
Do you vary your head sizes between the center and the outers?
Yeah, I do. When I'm fishing Orville and Shasta, I go pretty heavy heads, right? Because it's pretty steep walls. There are some long tapering points, but I go pretty heavy. Half ounce.
Oh
To
wow.
get,
Okay.
but or I should say half and 3/8 out the middle. If I obviously keeping it higher, if I'm fishing a mud line, I might switch out the heads just to
Yeah.
keep stay in that mud line. Because I don't want to be. I mean, I want to be on the bottom, but I want to be, not getting hung up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're getting hung
Are
up,
you
you're.
fishing?
I mean, obviously, I
Are
don't have
you
lights.
fishing?
I'm just going off the feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
see it like.
Yeah.
Are you
Well, that's the
fishing
dude-
main lake, or
Now,
do you fish like holes, back a creek, or where you find the bait? You fish obviously around the bait, but
yeah, I think your spotted bass. I think they're going to be, better in the main lake. Once you get in the backs of pockets, I think that's when you have a better chance of catching a largemouth. I think like if you go in back of, oh my gosh, Lime Saddle, or you go back of, oh my gosh, what's that main ramp where everyone launched it out of?
Was it Bidwell?
Bidwell, thank you. Go back to
Bidwell.
Bidwell. That's largemouth water. Personally, that's what I think. You go in the back there, and that's where they live. I mean, there's a few other areas too, but then on top of that, you got all the houseboats. It's a lot of little spotted bass. They like to
Right.
suspend. And so you've got all the houseboats to fish. It doesn't matter what time of year they're out there. So a lot of tournaments get one off the houseboat. A few other areas too, but
Yeah.
yes.
So Max asked, do you change your trebles out on your 500s?
Yes, I do. I do a size 2 on the front, 2 and a 4. I think 2 on the front, 4 on the back. And the reason I do that is because it's the same hook size that's on the bait originally. So and I want to keep the same cadence. So the reason why I do the 2 on the front is that's like it's the same exact size, and a 4 on the back. And I use the Gamakatsu EWGs, super sticky hooks. I've been a couple of them out, never on fish, but when I get hung up and pulling on it, every once in a while I'll bend them out. I do end up breaking my line a lot of the times, but yeah, they're super sticky hooks, and that's the hook I recommend. There's some other other hooks like Owner, are good hooks, but I like the Gamis. I just super sticky. I mean, if the fish breathes on them, I feel like I got them.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And then Skunk Master asked, how effective is drifting a worm in the American?
It's pretty good, and I would say it's better like I would say early spring through like summer and fall. Winter and like late winter, maybe beginning of spring, that's when the Maglips, the Roe, the Cleos, that's where that's really effective. But like I would say middle of spring, on is really good for a night crawler.
Okay.
And the Central Valley fish, they love a night crawler. The Eel River fish, don't get me wrong, you can catch them on a night crawler, but I don't catch too many on night crawlers. I mostly catch them, on Cleos and Maglets. It's kind of how I catch most of my Eel River strain.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. So, guys, if you want to book a trip with Austin, or if you have any questions, send them now. But if you want to book a trip with Austin Wilson Fishing on Instagram and Facebook. Get in touch
And
with
you
them.
have to check the YouTube videos. They're awesome videos.
Yeah, Fisherman Wilson on YouTube.
Yep. Fisherman Wilson,
Yeah.
my channel. I haven't posted in a couple months. Obviously, been super busy with the new job, and obviously,
Shame on you, Austin.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I really
Being
am.
irresponsible.
I just went
Understandable. That's understandable.
I went up to the Smith River for salmon. It's actually the only river where we were able. Well, there's 2 rivers in California where we were able to fish for salmon this year, and went up to the Smith, fished up there, and had a really good time. I brought all the camera stuff, but I was more excited about fishing and not really had the camera stuff up. I did have the camera stuff up, but now looking back at the footage, it really wasn't the right angles and the way I usually do my videos. So if you guys watch the channel, I probably will have it on a steelhead video. So as of right now, my video is roughly with the salmon video is like 5 minutes, and that's too short for me to post a video. Now I got a couple shorts out of it, but it's it's too short for me to post. So what I'll do is my next steelhead video, I'll most likely have it at the end of that video.
Yeah.
So if you guys are following along or watch the channel and you're wondering, some of you guys know I went up there and salmon fished, but haven't seen a video yet. That's what I'm waiting for. Waiting to go steelhead fishing and catching, catching a steelhead. So
it's definitely difficult, especially I just started a YouTube channel a couple weeks ago, and it's tough, man, trying to figure out like how you're going to break this video down. First video was pretty decent. Caught enough fish to make something out of it. But the second trip, it was like, good, 4 fish for the day, man. How do you break that down? You know what I mean? So it does. And then you got angles, and it gets a little tricky.
Yep. And B-roll. And I honestly, I like a day that I don't
B-roll.
smash. I like a day I don't smash them. Maybe they catch a handful of fish, because it really shows the truth about fishing. It's not like every day you're going out there and smashing them, right?
For sure.
Right.
So, and if you are catching a lot of fish, people kind of get uninterested.
They do.
So
I do.
That's one thing I like about steelhead fishing. It's always, they're keeping you on your toes. You never know when you're going to bite, and you're roughly only going to get 1 to 7 bites a day. You know, so but those 1 to 7 bites, man, they're special. They fight hard. They get aerobatic. They're jumping out of the water doing cartwheels, and they're fun. And then on top of that, we have the upper section where I mostly fish is barbless. So you got the the headache of losing fish too. So
yeah.
But it's definitely worth it, and it's fun. That's for sure.
Heck yeah.
The first video I saw of you were sleeping in your truck, and it was before a Wild West tournament. And I think it was at the one you won, and it shows you in the morning cooking breakfast. And I'm like, I can fully relate to this guy. I mean, this guy, he's straight up telling, this is how it is, I'm roughing it. I'm not, staying in no fancy motel. I'm staying in my truck. It's snowing outside. I don't know what's going to happen. And I was like, I like this guy. And that B-roll is what keeps me interested,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I enjoy sleeping in the truck and right there. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to be comfortable in an Airbnb or a hotel or whatnot. But I feel like roughing it a little bit. It's actually, I don't know. I'm still pretty young. It might say something a little different when I'm, maybe in my 50s or 60s.
You said John's age.
Yeah.
Thank God he didn't say in his mid 40s.
A little older than Yeah. Actually, I still rough it out a lot of times too.
But John's not telling you he's only 42.
I just don't like sleeping around rattlesnake. Yeah.
Well, it makes it tough too when it's
the
cold,
rattlesnake.
right? and if
Yeah.
it's raining and you're wet, it's like, how are you going to stay dry? You know,
Yeah.
that is where, all right,
Now,
I'm
how
gonna
do you
a
get
hook.
dry?
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You have a couple. You
All
definitely
your
have a couple
gear's all
pairs.
soaking wet.
That's where you definitely have a couple pairs of
Right.
like weather gear, your jacket, bibs, and stuff like that. So you're able to just
Right.
swap them out. You know.
Yep.
But
So,
Yeah.
question:
okay.
Keep those
When
videos
we
up.
gonna get you in a freaking kayak, dude?
I know. Tony, over at Fisherman's, he's been bugging me for a while. I've been tempted. I've told him I'm tempted. I just need to, get my feet wet with it. Right. I need to get in the boat and fish and practice, and out of it and see how I like it, because I definitely think it's worth fishing out of a kayak. I've definitely been telling Tony that if you were at Fisherman's and you're there Monday through, I think he works Monday through Thursday, he's there, and he's a kayak guy, and he's been bugging me for a while about hopping in the kayak, and I just haven't pulled the trigger yet, and it seems really fun. I mean, it seems like a blast. I watch Greg, Blanchard. I think everyone here, right? I watch
Oh,
Greg's
yeah.
Oh
video,
yeah.
and I enjoy his videos, probably like all you guys do, and it seems fun. It really does. It seems like a blast, and
I gotta tell you. So in a bass boat, I fish around rattlesnake, and I'm throwing a boat, and I could get them to bite about 8 to 10 feet from the boat. In the kayak, I would have like 4 to 6 inches line out when they would hit the buzz bait. Literally, it would splash and get me wet. Yeah, so there's a stealth factor, and a bass boat moves a lot of water, pushes water, just like those big vessels that go down the main channel. It moves water. We don't see it, too much in a bass boat, and you really can't really tell in a kayak, but they know if there's a bass boat there. They know, but a kayak they don't know. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing you'll know if you're out to get.
Yeah, and that's the you got to make. All my reels, the brakes are off. I try to cast as far as possible and get my bait away from the boat. And obviously it's always scary when you get bit on the first or second handle turn way out there. It's a good one. So you
You're like
get back in the boat, but
jumps one time and you're like, oh no.
All my friends pick up my reels and they just blow them up every single time. They hate the reels, but it's, I'm used to it. I try to cast as far as possible to get my bait away from the boat. But yeah, you're right. And the Ranger, bass boats in general just push a lot of water, and the stealth factor of kayaks, I feel like helps you hit,
Yeah. Well, when you're ready to try one out,
water
let me know,
easily.
Austin. I'll bring you mine.
Well, like you said, I kind of want to fish. I would like to fish a circuit, I just don't know. I guess I don't really need practice, right? Because I got little man, and I know when I was fishing, the bigger boat stuff, I was practicing a lot, or trying to practice a lot. Any free chance I was out in the water. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do that all the time. Obviously, with the guide business, little man, work, making sure my wife's happy, because happy wife, happy life kind of thing,
That's
right?
right.
So, yeah.
You don't need no practice.
I'll just go out and go fishing.
No.
Just go out and go fishing.
And the thing is, with if anyone watches my channel, and I'm not a guy that likes to run around a whole lot. I like to usually just put my trolling motor down and just cover a ton of water, and which I think I'd be good at with the kayak, because that's all I like to do. I just got to pick. Depends on the tournament, right? Because there are certain tournaments that you're only allowed to blast off from one location, and then there's other ones where you can launch from any ramp that they open. So
just
I like that style, to where I like this section of the lake. It's pretty close. I can get there in a kayak. Like, I can fish this all day and do pretty well. So
you ride a bicycle?
I do, and not a lot. But
you ride a bicycle?
Yeah.
Yeah. I suggest riding a bicycle for a while if you don't have a motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have jello legs on the way in, and you'll be paddling as hard as you can, and like, I got 5 minutes going across the lake. and, and you get there
I
and
don't
you're
mind.
like done.
Good workout.
Yeah, it is a good workout.
Like, yeah, I do. I went the Shasta tournament we did in 22. I think I covered 25 miles of water in 3 days with no motor.
Dang.
My legs, dude, Sunday, my legs were spent. Like, I looked at my starting spot, was like, I need to go there. And I was like, oh, hell no. I ain't going to make that another mile that way and back. I was just like barely pedaling my kayak. I'm like, oh my God. That was the turning point. I said, okay, I'm buying a motor.
Yeah, that's probably a turning
by the
point.
way,
They'd always make fun of me, like, dude, how you going? So, where's your motor? So, yeah, I don't got one. I got big old fat legs. What do you think is happening?
yeah, a 3-foot wave in a bass boat, you get on top of it and go 60 miles an hour. In a kayak, you got the butt pucker, and you're just like holding on, like, oh my god, here it goes, oh, yeah.
You're gonna shut the motor off, so you just kind of
gnarly sometimes.
go with it.
Oh man, that's scary. Don't
It's
want
a
to
little
flip.
gnarly.
Fall out.
No,
Yeah.
you don't want to flip. No,
No.
learn how to get back in the
Self-rescue.
kayak. So, yeah, self-rescue. Whatever one you get, flip it and then get back in it. So you know how to do it. Don't learn the day you flip it. Yeah,
Right.
and don't
Yeah,
put all
well,
your stuff in when you flip it. Just
So that makes sense.
practice
We have to
with
go in
it
the
empty.
summertime then. James, we got to go hop
Yeah.
in the boat. Maybe
Right.
go how close are you to Lake Natoma?
35 minutes.
Okay, not bad.
Not far. I think
Okay.
like Folsom, I think Granite Bay is like 40 minutes from my house, and same with Browns. So
Okay.
it's all within that. Actually, no, dude. If we went to off of Hazel, dude, I can get there probably 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, Natoma fish is pretty good. I've got some really nice ones out of there.
That lake's so damn cold though year round. I don't know
Yeah.
how those guys swim in that thing because it's frigid.
Mm,
It's going to be the lake I'd want to flip my kayak and self rescue.
I guess you're right. But in the summer, I mean, obviously the summertime, the tournament's going to be halfway over for the most part.
Yeah.
When it's 100
Actually,
degrees
the
out,
kayak
man,
tournaments
water
really
goes-
start kicking in then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kayak tournaments, they have more during the summertime.
Okay.
Okay, well, dude,
and late in the
I'll
year.
figure out how to
The
get that in
bass
the
done.
I gotta figure out how to get that in the boat to the same lake. I'll just let you go on that, and I'll go.
Yeah, that's true.
Boat. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll get you in it.
I've been talking about it for a while. I just need to do it.
I know. I've been asking you to do it forever.
Oh, I know.
Every time Tony and I were in there, we gang up on you. Come on, Austin.
I know. It's just one of those things where, man, that's another reason why I kind of stopped. No, I wouldn't say stop bass fishing, but stop fishing the tournament scene is because there'd be so many times where I'd be practicing for a fishery and it's not fishing very good, and it won't be fishing very good. But there's a couple other lakes that are fishing really good, and I want to be there instead.
Yeah.
And then or other fish like salmon or steelhead, or shad, stripers. There'd be other bites going on where I want to spend time doing that instead of practicing the tournament, which we're all here to have fun, right? And at that point is like, well, I'm here. I just want to fish for fun, right? And film videos. So that's kind of another reason why I kind of took a step back. I'm salty about a few things. I don't think I'll talk about them here.
Yeah.
But there's quite a few things I'm salty about. But
It's all good.
yeah,
we all
I
know
want to get back.
situations.
Yeah, but I think you bring it back to a super valid point. It's having fun,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's why we all got into it, is to have fun. If we're not having fun, then why the hell do it anymore?
Yep.
It's a super valid point. You're doing what brings joy and fulfillment to your life, to where you've got your 2 days off that you need a stress, reliever. There's no. It's not a stress reliever to go beat your head up against the wall trying to figure a bite out on a shitty fishery. It's just, you know what I mean? There's nothing enjoyable. I mean, I guess it is enjoyable when you do figure it out, if you do.
Oh, yeah.
But when you don't figure it out, you're just miserable.
Yep. Yeah. It's one of those things too, is like where practice doesn't go very well, but all of a sudden during the tournament things start clicking, and then you end up winning the tournament over a really crappy practice. Those tournaments are like, they mean a little bit, like you figured it out. You didn't give up,
For sure. Oh yeah, guys, book a trip with Austin.
Yeah, my phone number, you can always reach me at 916 410-4990 is my phone number. Instagram, you can shoot me a message. Facebook, you can shoot me a message, and we'll hop on the boat. And even if you don't want to go steelhead fishing, I do shad trips, I do striper trips, and they eat an A-rig really well. Stripers eat an A-rig really well on the river, and they eat topwater, and they eat big glide baits, and you can catch a fish of a lifetime. Where we're fishing. Every time I float down the river, when the stripers are in, I'm no joke, I'm seeing 40 pounders. 30 to 40 pounders. There's giants. Now they're really smart. They don't get big for being dumb, but they're there.
Say your phone number again.
Phone number is 916-410-4990.
Guys, don't call him in the middle of the night. He's got a little one. All right.
Well, usually I keep my phone on.
Don't call after 8 o'clock.
And don't be sending him your OnlyFans account information either,
right?
okay?
Like, Dawson, don't click on any links.
Oh,
he's
darn
gonna
it.
send you.
I was going to send him my OnlyFans photos.
Oh God. Yeah, guys, book a trip with Austin. You could tell he's a wealth of knowledge. You guys, I mean, if you want to do like you said, a consulting trip with them, if you got a boat, you want to put them on your boat with you, call them. You want to catch some stripers, steelhead, all the fun stuff, give him a ring.
Yeah, he's a great guy too.
Shad fishing, but shad fishing can be a blast.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great guy
Get over
too.
and give him a subscribe on his Fisherman Wilson channel too on YouTube, because I'll tell you, man,
he's
I've
really
enjoyed
good
watching
at
them all.
he's really good at breaking down what he's doing and why he's doing it. That's like the biggest. Scott, I saw your comment there. It's really hard when you're frustrated trying to figure out a bite and you don't want to talk about why you're doing what you're doing because you don't know why the hell you're doing it or what you're doing with it. You're just trying to figure something out.
Hell, I'm just fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So dude, you really, the YouTube thing and trying to be, I guess, a teacher of techniques and stuff it's a tough task because you're not only trying to catch the fish, you don't want to give them the wrong information, but you don't really want to talk about it yet because maybe you haven't figured it out. And then when you do figure it out, you're, oh crap, I totally forgot to talk about what I was doing because you're having way too much fun smashing fish after fish after fish. So
yeah.
And everyone's style is totally different. So even if you knew what that person was doing, it's really hard to go back out there and replicate that, right?
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, you just got to get out and just figure it. I mean, the way I work a jig's different than how Austin or James, works a jig, and or vice versa. So, you just got to time on the water,
And I think one thing too is like Austin's throwing his A-rigs without live scope. He's going to work that bait 300 times different than I'm going to work that bait because I don't want to throw my bait I don't want to lose a $40 A-rig in the rocks, and Austin's feeling every rock with his A-rig. So it's totally different, guys. So
yeah.
Those are all things to remember, right? Like if you're watching your A-rig on live scope and you're keeping it right above the rocks and every once in a while tick one, just so you don't get it snagged and have to try to break it off or go get it. I mean, as opposed to grinding rocks with an A-rig. So throw your cheaper yums and those A-rigs into the rocks with some heavy heads. So when you lose one, you don't cry too bad.
Lose them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You buy. Time to lose them. Buy some more.
Yep.
Yeah, appreciate you, Austin. Really enjoy your company.
Yeah, no problem.
And
Thanks for
can't
Yeah,
wait
no, man, this has been awesome.
see
Thank
in
you.
next video.
Yeah. Yeah,
Heck
well,
yeah.
we'll see you next time.
And good luck with your newborn.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I can't wait for him to get older and so I can start taking fishing. But
Yeah.
that's gonna be a while.
Yeah, guys. Hey, Austin,
Yeah,
thanks
not
for
too much
joining.
longer.
Next week, I don't know who we're gonna have on, but we'll do a show next week. The following week is Christmas. I'm not gonna guarantee a show that Tuesday. And then what day's New Year's?
No, the real
on?
thing is James doesn't want to dress up as an elf on the show. That's the problem right now.
What do you mean
That's
an
the
elf?
debate.
Oh, by
I ain't gonna be no elf.
the way, Shane, I'm the outfit, and he should have arrived today already. It's a green. It's real
Mhm.
short skirt and
It's called the
comes with the
Grinch.
wig even.
Oh Jesus
Got-
Christ, John.
It's got
So
green
no, so-
knee-high stockings
All
and
right, okay, back on track. The 17th, I will do
Yeah.
a show. The 24th and the 31st, I will
And-
not do a show. So we're
he
gonna have
doesn't
one
want to
more
be a
show.
shirtless Santa.
And then
God dang it! I don't even know we want to see that.
one more time, Austin, your phone number.
Phone number is
One more time, Austin, your phone number.
916-410-4990.
Cool. All right, guys.
All
Call
right, thank you,
Austin.
Austin.
Reach out to him. Show next week. 2 weeks off for the holidays, and then we'll be back after that. I'll bring you something good after the break. I don't know what yet.
Hey,
Yes,
why
I-
don't we for next week, real quick, man? Just if you guys think of a topic, man, you guys want to hear about or anything like that, drop it down in the comments for us, man. You know, if it's something more specific you want to hear, drop it down there so we can put something together.
Yeah, I got
Santa and his
some.
elves.
I've got I don't know who yet, but I know there's some guys that do want to hop on. Some more of the BAM Super 60 guys. I'm gonna bring a couple more of those guys on. I do enjoy talking to those dudes. If you guys want another one of those next week, let me know. Or if you want to have some kind of conversation about why the sky's blue, I don't care. Drop a comment. Let me know what you want to hear. We will be going live once we get everything validated on our Anglers RX Facebook page as well as Headwaters soon. So you can find us in both those and the Headwaters Adventure Company YouTube page. Don't forget to give our Anglers RX page on Facebook a follow. And don't forget to give our Instagram page a follow if you guys want to stay up to date with what we're doing. We'll try to put out heads up on who we got, what we're going to do. So stay connected with that, guys. And the guy that won
Hooked.
last week,
Hook.
Shane, what was his name? The winner last week?
Oh, Mike Reagan.
Mike, if you're there, next time I see Shane, I'm going to give those baits to him. That way he can get them to you.
Yeah.
And I haven't forgot about it. Or you can shoot Shane your address. Shane will forward it to me. I'll get a mail to you, however you want to do it, if you're too far away from the Sacramento area.
No, he's out of. I believe he's out of Stockton. I believe so. He's in between you and I. So either way, you know.
Okay. I will be making a trip to Stockton soon. I got to see Mr. Beach. Sean, I haven't forgot about you. Hit me up on Croco Outdoors on Instagram, and we'll get in touch. I haven't forgot about it. I want to get them to you before Christmas. Other than that,
And Brian at Headwaters.
hooked4life.com. Hooked 44, save 10% off.
All caps.
All caps. The store is open for now in Ione, but they are closing the brick and mortar store. It's not a secret. Jay's posted it, and all of Hooked's business will be strictly online at hooked4life.com.
Guys, all I can ask is support local, guys.
Yep.
I mean, you know, yeah, we can reach out and get all our stuff, you know, online, but if you can, man, support local. They're the ones that are supporting our local communities and, you know, all of our events, and, you know, it just breaks my heart to see that.
If you are in the area in Ione and you want to participate in the toy drive they're doing, I don't remember how long it goes for, but he does have a box in the shop right now for a toy drive. So That's what I got. I'm done rambling. I'll catch you all next
Yep.
week.